From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Looking to avoid a strike, one transit union in the middle of a labor dispute rallies for support in downtown Phoenix.
Plus, they've been called a generation of renters, but more millennials could be considering buying a home instead.
And later, we'll show you how deforestation is affecting one butterfly species.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Sydney Glenn.
And I'm Audrey Wheel. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, One Valley Bus Union has voted to strike, but they're hoping to rally support and get a contract signed. Cronkite News reporter Alicia Leonage was at the rally and has details on what's keeping both sides apart.
The Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 1433, has been negotiating with Transdev since April on bus driver employee contracts. Drivers say they don't want to strike, but they're upset by a lack of progress. Dozens of people gathered at the Phoenix City Hall. The Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 1433, labor leaders and Phoenix residents held signs chanting and protesting the labor conditions of Phoenix City bus drivers. The union says they want fair treatment of workers and they want better terms in the contract offered by Transdev, otherwise known as Veolia, a foreign for-profit bus service contractor.
No, we just want the company to back us up. That's all we ask.
There are several sticking points according to the union. First, employees wouldn't get a paycheck. They'd be paid on a type of debit card. Second, the new contract would eliminate bus passes for family members of employees. And third, they'd replace uniform allowances with a uniform voucher system. ATU president says he wants the city of Phoenix to step in, since they chose Transdev as contractor and have helped with the negotiations in the past.
I would definitely rather them find an American-based company that's going to treat the employees properly and keep the money in the U.S.
Yet, City of Phoenix spokesperson Matthew Heel says they will continue to use Transdev as a bus service contractor.
This contract was procured through a competitive procurement and is one of the best in terms of value for the tax dollars that we're spending.
The union and bus drivers aren't the only ones who want change. Local residents like Phoenix bus rider Dominique Christian says she stands united with the bus drivers and the union.
They deal with a lot on a daily basis, and they deserve to be treated a lot better because of what they do deal with.
Christian says she will stop using all forms of transportation in support of the bus drivers. If the contract isn't revised and approved by October 15th, Transdev says it will cut employee pay by 0.5%, and that same cut will go into effect if the union strikes before then. In the Broadcast Center, Alicia Leonage, Cronkite News.
For Valley residents buying home, mortgage rates are very attractive, but most millennials have yet to push past the renting phase. Cronkite News reporter Devin Conley is here with more on what could be a change in attitude.
Rents are high and mortgages are still low, but young adults haven't been buying houses. Now there are signs that this could be changing.
For 23-year-old Natalie Mullen, the thought of buying a house is miles away.
It's not worth it to me. I'd rather pay rent and save up for a house that I want to be in for a long time.
This millennial reflects the attitude of many in her generation. And with the Phoenix housing market recovering more slowly than after past recessions, experts say 21 to 34-year-olds share the responsibility.
Partly it's that millennials have been reluctant to buy homes. And there appears to be evidence now that that's beginning to change.
Consider a recent Realtor.com study, which found 65% of millennials researched real estate websites and apps in August. And for good reason. Zillow shows renters in the Phoenix area can spend up to 28% of their monthly income on housing. Meanwhile, homeowners are only spending around 17%. While millennials may be researching home ownership, some are still skeptical to make the commitment.
If I was going to pay a 30-year mortgage, I want it to be in a house that I want to be in for 30 years or longer.
You're going to have a lot of money saved up in order to get deposits. You get the loan, you get a house.
Real estate groups are encouraging more millennials to not only search for property, but to buy. Otherwise, rental rates will continue to climb.
Rental rates are definitely significantly higher year over year for like the last 3 years because there's so many people going into the rentals.
According to Zillow, interest rates are hovering at an all-time low since 1985. In the Media Center, Devin Conley, Cronkite News.
A new report shows the most expensive offices to rent here in the Valley are in the Camelback-Biltmore area. Scottsdale has the second highest office rents in the region, but it's not slowing down demand. Old Town and South Scottsdale just passed Tempe as having the least space available in the region at 9.3%.
The Border Patrol's parent agency has issued new custody standards. They include properly using handcuffs, keeping undocumented immigrants' personal belongings safe, and setting thermostats to comfortable levels. Customs and Border Protection has faced criticism from advocacy groups for poor conditions after detainees alleged mistreatment, including freezing temperatures, poor hygiene, and overcrowding.
Glendale residents are split over a proposed anti-discrimination ordinance that would protect LGBT residents. 4 public meetings have been held on the issue, and a report covering those meetings was presented to the City Council today. Residents on both sides have voiced their opinions. Some argue the ordinance would infringe on religious freedom, while others say the additional protections for LGBT people are necessary. In recent years, women and Latinos have made huge strides in the workforce. But what about in the tech industry?
Coming up on Cronkite News, business leaders and politicians in our nation's capital say we could do a lot more to improve minority representation.
And one Arizona woman is telling her story using humor and a unique canvas for her art.
The easiest and best way to support Arizona PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Your monthly contribution of $5 or more comes directly from your bank account or credit card, so you know your membership is always current. It also means no more renewal notices in your mailbox. So more of your dollars go to the programs you love. It's convenient for you, greener for us, and better for the planet. Become a sustaining member today.
Tap into the art scene from coast to coast. Join the Art Beat Nation, a weekly series where you'll experience a rich cultural tapestry of art stories from across America. Meet artists, writers, composers, and performers setting the pulse of the arts in America now. Join us for a brand new episode of Art Beat Nation, Sunday at 5 on 8HD. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online. Become a news source for the Arizona PBS Public Insight Network. Your ideas and insights can help us create relevant and distinctive reporting. Join now at azpbs.org/pin.
Throughout its history, Arizona PBS and volunteers have enjoyed a rich and rewarding partnership. Whether answering phones during our pledge campaigns, stuffing envelopes, or assisting with special events, volunteering at 8 is fun and provides excellent work experience, team building for a group, and a sense of community involvement and importance. If you would like to volunteer at 8, or if you have dropped off our mailing list, we encourage you to call the number on your screen or go online at azpbs.org/volunteer. Thank you.
When I was first told that, it was supposed to rain this week, I was like, it rains here, I wouldn't have expected that, it's so dry.
The rain came as a surprise to many this afternoon, with flash flood advisories being issued throughout the day from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service says some of the hardest hit areas include Litchfield Park, which saw close to 2 inches, and in central Phoenix, we saw nearly an inch. However, it is expected to be bright and sunny the rest of the week.
Arizona Governor Doug Ducey is heading to Israel for an international conference on water technology. The conference aims to bring together experts from across the world who are creating sustainable solutions to water usage problems. The trip will last 8 days, and he will also meet with other business and government officials during his trip.
Governor Ducey also released his own water initiative to help solve Arizona's long-term water challenges. It's a 2-track plan based on last year's sustainability report. The first track looks at water issues in 22 different planning areas and identifies strategies to help meet water demands. The second track appoints a team to investigate long-term strategies and ultimately come up with policy recommendations and ways to pay for them.
In Washington, D.C. today, Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego is meeting with experts in the technology field and discussing how to get more Hispanics involved in the industry. Cronkite News reporter Adriana Barajas is in D.C. with the details.
Hispanics make up 17.5% of the population, but in the tech world, they account for only 4.5% of the workforce, which is why today the Congressional Hispanic Caucus met with leaders from the industry to discuss innovative ways to address this problem. Facebook executive Susan Gonzalez admits that there's a problem in the industry.
Being a Latina in technology, and frankly in any industry, sometimes can be a challenge because often we are the only one.
She says it needs to change for women as well as for minorities.
The numbers speak for themselves. This is not only an issue about women in tech, but also women in non-tech roles such as myself need to pursue opportunities in the tech industry.
Industry officials met with lawmakers to brainstorm ideas to address this problem.
What we need are suggestions. And so, we had this conversation, for example, with CHCI. And so now we are taking that a step further.
At the Congressional Hispanic Conference today, Ruben Gallego said the solution has two elements.
What we need to do is really talk to these companies to make sure that they are hiring and interviewing Latinos.
But besides holding businesses accountable, he says government needs to make sure people are trained to hold these positions.
At the same time, we have to make sure that in the K-12 level that there is a more emphasis and investment in STEM, so that way we are producing that valuable workforce for the future.
Gonzalez looks forward to the future, but she says it's not going to be easy to get there.
The most important lesson that Latinas specifically can learn is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
In addition to Facebook, the Public Policy Conference Summit on Technology brought leaders from major tech companies, including Global Business Services, Verizon, and Microsoft. Live in Washington, D.C., Adriana Barajas, Cronkite News.
One Hispanic photographer is using her experience and success to inspire others. Artist Annie Lopez started by taking black and white photos. Cronkite News reporter Erica Lang found Lopez now creates colorful prints that explore both her heritage and defy stereotypes.
You want to go hang it on the clothesline?
Annie Lopez has always had an artistic eye.
Yeah, I think you're ready. You can go ahead and hang it on the line.
She teaches her printing process to inspire younger generations. This workshop is at the Phoenix Art Museum. Lopez uses a printing process that mixes text and family photos to challenge stereotypes.
At the beginning, it was all about Cinco de Mayo and the month of September, and being rejected the rest of the year.
And she turns to her own experiences for inspiration. She started printing on tamale paper, a canvas where art and culture meet.
Looking in art stores, you'll see all sorts of papers that connect to different cultures, but they don't connect to mine. I don't see any Mexican paper and art paper in the art store.
Lopez's art reflects her own sometimes painful past, growing up as a Latina in Arizona.
I use it to cancel out the things that have been said to me or about me that have not been so very nice. And I also use it to tell my family history.
And she uses forgotten photos she finds at thrift and antique stores, adding satirical captions.
We've got to live this life all together, and it's like, why not just make fun of it? Or find the humor in these situations.
A shared experience she hopes others can identify with through art. In Phoenix, Erica Lang, Cronkite News.
Lopez's exhibit, titled The Almost Real History of Art in Phoenix, will be on display at the Phoenix Art Museum for another year.
The number of Hispanics in the U.S. joining evangelical churches is growing, and as Fan Wang explains, here in Arizona that means more churches are offering bilingual services.
And as long as he is being honored, mientras que él está...
Maurice Chavez is the pastor of a Pentecostal church in Phoenix. He, like many in his congregation, is a former Catholic.
I grew up in church all my life. My father was studying to be a priest in Waupaca, Wisconsin, when he converted to Christianity.
Over the past 10 years, the pastor has noticed more of those attending his church are Hispanic.
The majority of our church now is probably, I would probably say at least 2/3 of our congregation is Spanish speaking.
Many are immigrants from Mexico.
I get strength from my church and congregation, and I take that home.
These brothers and sisters love God, and I love God. It's my family. It's my family here.
This is one of the 225 Assemblies of God churches in Arizona. All have seen an increasing number of Hispanic faithful.
But a lot of them they were done with praying rituals and traditions that they were raised to see, and they wanted more of a God that was relational. Pentecostal churches, evangelical Hispanic churches, really focus on developing community, fellowship, a family environment, which a lot of them look for.
Here is a lot of activities, a lot of ways that we could grow and improve.
Amen, amen, amen.
¿Sí?
Amen.
Si está escribiendo.
Phoenix World Outreach became a bilingual church last November. Around 500 people attend services here every week.
There you go.
Jarvis recently celebrated 30 years of preaching.
All right, now.
He hopes his church will continue to grow by appealing to those searching for a new spiritual home. In Phoenix, Fan Wang, Cronkite News.
According to a study by the Pew Research Center, the percentage of Hispanics in the U.S. who are Catholic declined from 67% in 2010 to 55% in 2013. Many have joined evangelical or Pentecostal churches, a trend that is expected to continue.
The city of Tempe is making its streets more accessible to bikers.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how the city is adding routes and making it easier to commute by bike.
And how one city in the valley is giving back to the community through fitness.
Hi, I'm Paula Kirker, president of PBS, and I'd like to personally thank you if you've made a contribution to 8 Arizona PBS. You know, when you fund your favorite shows on this station, you're ensuring great television continues to be available for yourself, your family, and everyone in your community. One of the easiest ways to do that is by making a monthly contribution on an ongoing basis, what we call sustaining membership. When you call, tell us how much you'd like to donate each month. Our current sustainers tell us that $10, $15, or $20 a month is best for them, but you decide what works for you. After you've made that call, we will deduct that amount each month from your credit card or your bank account, and we will continue until you tell us otherwise. Your membership will always remain current, and renewal notices will become a thing of the past. Best of all, your ongoing support means that the best television on television will continue to come your way every single day of the year. So please, consider a sustaining contribution today. Thank you for your support of this PBS station.
The Tempe Public Library is finding a new energy source for their lights, the sun. It's part of a new solar project that's predicted to provide as much as 35% of the library's power. Hundreds of solar panels will be on canopies covering the parking lots, and 500 panels will also be installed on the roof.
The city of Tempe is promoting bike riding with new safe routes that avoid busy streets. Reporter Eleni Dow shows us these planned bicycle boulevards.
It's hard for me to get to South Tempe and to get east to west in Tempe on surface roads.
Preston Swan is a member of Tempe Bicycle Action Group.
These bike boulevards are going to be a godsend for getting around my town.
Bike in Tempe, also known as Bike It, is the latest stage in the city's transportation plan. The city is creating 9 bike boulevards, allowing riders to go from Tempe to Scottsdale, Mesa, Phoenix, and Chandler. Each route has a specific bicycle-related name, along with their own signs to guide bicyclists. However, these boulevards are not the same as bike lanes.
Bike boulevards are really meant to connect on streets that are not those major streets. They're local streets like neighborhood streets and our pathway system, so they're really low traffic volume streets.
With new bike boulevards coming to the city of Tempe, Joseph Perez, who coordinates Phoenix's bicycle effort, hopes this will help encourage even more people to ride.
People are riding more because they understand it's better for their health, it's better for the local economy.
I think Tempe is a good example of an up-and-coming area for bikes. The city is doing a lot to promote more bike projects.
But the city is still looking for input from residents to design those routes. In Tempe, Eleni Dow, Cronkite News.
The exact location for the first boulevard, which is called the Seat Route, is still under consideration, but the city calls for several of the routes to be up and riding by the end of 2015.
One Valley city is hoping healthy people make healthy communities, and it's going the extra mile to lead their residents to a healthier lifestyle. Cronkite News reporter Maria Estrada shows us how.
Good afternoon, this is Cheryl. Cheryl Seedig, Community Services Director for City of Buckeye, decided to embrace Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. so she helped launch Fitness in the Park.
I think it's very important. We want our community, our residents to be healthy. Providing opportunities for them is a plus.
Banner Health and Cancer Treatment Centers of America help fund the program, which runs Monday through Thursday.
We have PIO, CrossFit, Zumba, 1 hour of free exercise. You don't have to register for the program.
Statistics from the Arizona Department of Health Services show communities have an influence on physical activity. Glenn Gazer, professor at ASU School of Nutrition and Health Promotion, says exercise along with healthy eating adds longevity prospects.
People will live longer, they'll live better, they'll probably sleep better, they'll have more energy throughout the day.
For a most favorable outcome,
exercise is critical. You need both exercise to make the body work well and a good healthy diet to fuel that. So both are important.
CEDIC says the program is so successful, they're going into a second season.
They're healthier, they're happier. It's a win for the community.
They're finding making exercise part of the community can make the community more fit. In Buckeye, Maria Estrada, Cronkite News.
The city of Buckeye will continue to offer the program as long as they have funding and participants.
Countless butterflies across North America are beginning their winter migration through Arizona on the way to Mexico.
Coming up on Cronkite News.
It's licking you.
One type of butterfly is facing a whole new challenge south of the border. How you can help ahead.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Tickets are available now for one of the most anticipated luncheon events of the year. Join industry leaders from the worlds of media, politics, business, and education as we honor award-winning news anchor and late-night host Charlie Rose, this year's recipient of the Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. The event takes place at the Phoenix Downtown Sheraton on Monday, October 19th at 11:30 a.m. For tickets, visit azpbs.org/Rose or call 602-496-4539.
Hi, I'm Judy Woodruff, co-anchor of the PBS NewsHour. Preparing the next generation of journalists has never been more important than it is now. With its groundbreaking partnership with Arizona PBS, the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU is revolutionizing journalism education to provide students with a real opportunity to work and learn under the supervision of veteran journalists, producers, directors, and editors on newscasts, investigative stories, and documentary productions. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, reinventing journalism education in the digital age.
Monarch butterflies flying south to Mexico face some new challenges. Cronkite News reporter Katie Beery has details on a migration riddled with threats.
In 1995, scientists estimate that there were up to 1 billion monarch butterflies in North America. 20 years later, that number's dropped by 90%. And one of the reasons for the decline may be found south of the border. Yes! The beauty of these tiny winged visitors is on full display at Butterfly Wonderland in Scottsdale.
They're gorgeous and they're beautiful and they're amazing, amazing creatures.
And they make an amazing journey through Arizona every fall.
This butterfly likes you.
It's that time of year and millions of butterflies, like this monarch right here, begin the miles-long descent to Mexico.
And it's just unbelievable to think that such delicate things can fly as far as they do.
Fragile butterflies find their way to a winter haven every year. Monarchs migrate to Michoacan.
So at any of the stages, there's obstacles.
One of the most serious obstacles, illegal logging. is threatening the monarch's winter home.
And that deforestation that's happening is changing that internal temperature that these monarchs need to survive.
Deforestation means the number of monarchs dwindles every year. And here in the U.S., herbicides are destroying milkweed, the monarch's early food source.
We need to take a lot more responsibility for our environment in that we have the ability to save it or harm it.
It's licking you.
Ensuring butterflies survive and inspire future generations. There is something we can do here in Arizona to help. We can actually plant milkweed. That's a food source for the caterpillars that will eventually turn into monarchs. Live in the Broadcast Center, Katie Beery, Cronkite News.
While butterfly numbers dwindle, other populations are on the rise, specifically the Sonoran desert tortoise out of south-central Arizona. The reptile is no longer at risk of extinction. It was placed on the list of endangered species in 2010. Today, there are anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million desert tortoises in the U.S. and Mexico.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's next on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
Coming up after Cronkite News, it's Arizona Horizon. We'll hear about a new effort to help facilitate communication between local artists and Arizona residents. And we'll talk about a new book designed to help with early literacy. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, our Broken Justice series continues. We follow 3 people as they try to find work after prison. That's Tuesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.